Hello and welcome to Uncut, the podcast which I've been doing for a while now. I think we're on season 5. We talk about actors, we talk about directors, talk about movies, and we slink in a few specials along the way. Fright Fest, other film festivals, or the end of the year review, which is coming up, but we'll talk more about that later. But for now, I've been joined by Andy to talk about an actor. So, hello Andy, how are you doing?
Hello, Rob. I am good. Just off a long day at work, but I'm quite looking forward to talking about this actor.
Yes, this actor.
Spoil anything.
Yeah. I went with sort of a fan favourite because I thought there'd be like loads of interest, in his movies. But it's just us two. I'm cool with that. But
Yeah, strange one.
Because Kurt Russell we're talking about, he's just one of those actors where everybody likes at least one of his movies.
Yeah. So the reason I put my name down for this one was because quite a lot of his stuff's a bit of a blind spot for me, which I didn't realise. The 3 movies we're going to talk about today were all first time watches for me, which is perhaps a bit unusual, especially certainly for, I would say, 2 of them. The third less so, but
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll get to that.
Kurt Russell, it's The Thing, uh, is the main one I think that people think of. More up to date, you've got like Bone Tomahawk and things like that, but it's just a really strange blind spot for me. I don't know why these ones.
Yeah, it's The Thing and what's the other one? Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen that as well, but I think I only watched that this year. Big Trouble, when I was on a flight to Italy, or I'm sure that was this year. It was either this year or last year. I watched it on a flight somewhere for the first time, just downloaded it on my iPad, so it was like an hour and 40 minutes. And I think my flight was 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
So
perfect. Then yeah,
it was ideal, yeah. And again, it's great. Like,
yeah,
he's
it's
just
one
a
of those
fantastic
movies
actor, Aye.
seen so many times. I'm not one of those people like you or Kat who's seen things like in double figures plus.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. I'm quite a chronic rewatcher. Even for, if I've got nothing on that I want to watch, I'll put something on that I've seen 20, 30 times. Mostly with me, it's Terminator 2, Donnie Darko, Avengers Endgame, the Dark Knight trilogy. I kind
yeah,
of jump
not
between
not not
all
this
those.
like
Jurassic Park.
not throwing the podcast off the rails like immediately, but I haven't seen Donnie Darko in such a long time. I saw it's on Tubi,
Mm.
and I thought, because being of the sort of the millennial generation, that was a big shit movie back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I saw it twice or 3 times in the cinema, so it wouldn't have been long. So when was it? It was 2002, Donnie Darko,
That
was it?
sounds
Would it
about
have
right.
been
Yeah, yeah.
2003? And I had not long had my Cineworld card at the time. It would have been UGC, actually, before Cineworld got taken over. Um, and yeah, I went to see it 2 or 3 times in the cinema. It came out at the same time, and I can remember reading articles. I used to just read the reviews in the local paper, and it came out at the same time as another big release, a big horror movie. And I can't
Oh,
remember what it was at that time. Right, I'm sure it
2002.
was a big. I'm
I'm not
sure it was
sure.
a big horror movie. Um, and basically the reviews that I was reading were saying, "Go and see this instead, and go and see Donnie Darko instead." And since then, obviously, it was kind of maybe not marketed right. It was maybe marketed more along the psychological horror
Yeah,
potentially,
it's
like with
not. It's
Frank
a
the Bunny and
sci-fi if
oh,
anything.
and I mean I'm a fan. I have Frank the Bunny
Yeah.
tattooed on me and 28 Days and all that, and yeah, it's still a. I still don't know what's going on. Time travel, something like that. Smurfs, uh,
Oh, yeah, well,
a
it's
giant bunny, Evil Dead,
a comfort
paedophiles.
movie. When I was
Oh,
younger, I watched like Fight Club like over and over again for
mm,
no reason. I can't watch it now. I just can't. But you know,
yeah, that's
what
one. So it used to be so in terms of the whole rewatching thing, and I know we've kind of went off piste a wee bit here, but rewatching used to be majority of my time. Like if I bought a DVD, I knew I would watch that 4 or 5 times that week. It was just what I done.
Yeah.
Like it's
What
just,
that?
and then
Yeah.
yeah, and then the um like front to back on extras, like everything was getting watched, like movies with director's commentary, and I watched the even the director's cut of Donnie Darko, which is not as good as the original because it changes the score and the soundtrack. But like the Richard Kelly director's cut, the Richard Kelly director's commentary on that is really great because he tells you little bits like
Yeah.
the bit where there's a scene where Maggie Gyllenhaal comes out back from a date and a horn beeps twice, and she's been on a date with Frank, and that's him beeping subconsciously to let her know not to go upstairs and things like that. Like, it's
Oh
quite
wow. Okay.
interesting seeing
That's very
seeing.
detail oriented. I mean, there is a
Mhm.
connection
Yeah,
there.
it's really interesting. Yeah.
Um, because it stars Patrick Swayze there.
Mm.
Um, as a teacher, I think, if I remember correctly, I've only seen it the once.
He is a kind of self-help guru.
Ah, okay.
I
But
the fear is the mind killer. Fear is a love and fear is the dichotomy that he kind of works with. Do you want to follow in the path of love, not the path of fear? And Donnie's in fear and things like that. He calls
yeah,
him a antichrist.
but the connection there is one of the movies that we're talking about today was originally supposed to star Silver Patrick Swayze apparently, but he couldn't do it
Mm.
because he was going to do Roadhouse. So they cast Sylvester Stallone in that role instead.
Yeah. Mm.
Maybe that gives away one of the
Uh,
movies we're talking about, but we'll just get out of it anyway. The three movies are chronological order. Let's get them out. Um, Escape from New York, Tango and Cash, and Tombstone.
Mm.
So,
Very different. Oh, very different.
yeah, I mean, it's a pity that we couldn't do any of his more modern stuff because
Yeah.
it's it's probably the wildest stuff that he's done. Like, I will
Yeah.
stand up for the Hateful Eight. I know people hate it. I think
No,
it's one of the
really.
worst Tarantino movies, but the way I see it, it's basically a remake of The Thing, but as a western.
Mm. Yeah. Hateful Eight was one that I missed in the cinema for some
Same.
reason, and it got spoiled for me before I'd seen it. And we won't go into that, but there's
Yeah,
certain people that I didn't know were in it, and they hadn't even been advertised. I don't think they were at like premieres and things
yeah.
like that. They weren't involved in any of the media, and it got spoiled before I was even able to see it, which was quite disappointing. But I think even his Death Proof with Tarantino, Death Proof isn't the greatest movie ever, but it's
It's
certainly
elevated
not.
by him, yeah.
Yeah, it is. The stuntman Mike is really great in it, and I think again, as you said, it's him, isn't it? Like there's a certain movie in this that he most definitely saves,
Yeah.
um, by his
Um,
performance.
and there's another big one of this era, Bone Tomahawk. I've not seen that.
Near of a This is what I
Um,
mean. Like, there's so many as I've not seen.
I think it's one of those movies, Bone Tomahawk, that I've been put off for it. I mean, I know it's supposed to be like, I'm not the biggest Western fan. And
Mm,
it's just the fact that it goes to the, I mean, I know, I think everybody knows what direction that goes in. It ends up as a cannibal
yeah.
movie at the end. It's just
Yeah, I
when
think
you
it goes
say
quite
cannibal
horror, doesn't it?
movie, yeah, when you say cannibal movie, there's just a little guy in here who says it's gross, it's absolutely
Mm.
gross, and then you watch it and you think that wasn't much really, and that's
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen one scene, that's the kind of famous scene. I don't know how aware of it you are.
uh,
Um, and it's grim. Basically, a man gets wishboned
right,
from the
okay,
ball from the bollocks.
yeah, that is pretty. I mean, yeah, I
It's,
mean the director, I guess Craig Zahler, I think it is, as
okay.
he kind of tanked his own career a little bit, so that's why he hasn't done anything after Dragged Across Concrete, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, there's other
Oh, is
things
he the
as
one that
well.
done Brawl and Cell Block
Yeah, which
99 or
I
something?
quite like
That
that.
was
But
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
but there's also other things that he's done in the modern era, like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is
Yeah,
um, Ego the planet, the
yeah,
sentient
you got
planet.
the 11th Planet. Yeah, yeah, and again, Guardians 2 was one that I think at the time didn't get great reviews, but I think
Mm.
it's the Guardians trilogy for me certainly is
It's
probably
strong.
the best Marvel trilogy.
Yeah, without
Um,
a shadow of a doubt.
and
Um,
his character in that, he's despicable, he's the villain.
what else has
Um,
he done recently? Because he's got such a, according to Letterboxd, he's got 90 movie credits. So this is a guy who's been active for a very, very long time.
I mean,
What has he done
seriously.
recently?
He's done the Christmas Chronicles. He played Santa, which
Yeah,
I can kind of see. But
it's
he
the
also
burn
done
of
the
I think people who have kids under 10 uh, hate those movies,
yeah,
which I
yes,
think, yeah, you count as among. But he's been not done a lot recently, really.
yeah.
Um,
Looking at it, I mean, he was in Fast 9, which I've never seen the Fast and Furious since the second movie. So, but he was also in he done the Godzilla TV show for Apple TV, which was quite good.
yeah,
He and then he was it was like a flashback, and Wyatt Russell played the young version of him. Um,
he's very like his
and
dad.
Aye,
How he
yeah, and
looks.
that again worked really well, and that was a good show. Kind of expanded on the lore without going full. I mean, I don't like the Godzilla and Kong movies. Um, just a
Kong
bit.
Skull Island is worth a watch, but after that, I think it just kind of lost it for me a little.
Yeah, like the Gareth Edwards Godzilla, I liked Skull Island, and then it goes to I think after that it was King of the Monsters, where it starts bringing in Mothra and Ghidorah and things like that, and it just doesn't work as well. And
No,
then Godzilla versus Kong are just nonsense. Like
yeah,
you're as well watching
but
Transformers if you want to see them.
he's modern era. I don't know what role he's in Fast and Furious, but again, going to Kat,
Mm,
she's a Fast Furious head. Apparently, it's a very small
mm.
role,
Yeah,
but
he's called
given the
Mr.
actors,
Nobody.
he's done nobody.
He's called Mr. Nobody in the Fast and Furious movies. So I don't know if he's
Ah, okay. It sounds
like
like sort
even
of
how much he turns up.
um, a behind the scenes sort of string puller sort of character.
Mm.
Yeah,
And then yeah, I mean it could even be a voiceover for it because he done the voiceover in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He does a bit of voiceover in that.
you see, I don't recall him in that at all. I mean, if it's a voiceover, that'd
I don't think
explain
he.
it.
I don't think he is in it. I think he is just. Oh wait, no. You know what? He is in it briefly. He's not the voiceover. He voices does a voiceover on something else. He is on set. I'm sure when Booth fights Bruce Lee.
Oh,
I've
okay.
just taken a flashback to that. I'm sure he's on. He's briefly in that. He maybe gives him the job or something. Gets him the job.
Yeah, I mean,
Um.
it's been a while since I've watched it. It was at the cinema, so yeah. I mean, yeah,
Mm,
fair to you. But
yeah.
the three movies that we are doing, just fall in sort of the 80s to late 90s, that sort of 20 year spell.
Mm,
When he's effectively
yeah,
at the
probably
peak
right.
of his powers, really. Um,
Yeah.
so just to run through them again, Escape from New York, Tango and Cash, and Tombstone. So Escape from New York being first. You okay starting with that one?
Yeah, totally. Yep.
Do you want to run through the synopsis, or from me too? I've seen this one so many times.
You can then. I'll let you fire in.
Yeah. Kurt Russell is Snake Plissken. It's
Mm.
I remember it being in a ridiculous year. It's one of those sci-fi movies where it's in the futuristic year of 1997 or something. It's
Aye, it's nice.
those one of those movies, and we're in this sort of vision of America where New York has sort of been cordoned off into this prison island,
Yeah.
um, and the one person that they can get to go in there, the president is a Lee Van Cleef Western legend. No, not the president. The guy who charges him to go and get the president is Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah.
He goes
Mhm.
into this island because apparently Snake Plissken's the only person who can do it.
Mhm.
He's helped along the way by a load of very, very famous faces to rescue the president, who's played by Donald Pleasance, who's been kidnapped by Isaac Hayes in uh, a gang of weirdos. I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. So again, I've watched a lot of Carpenter, the good and the bad and the ugly, and this is just one I'd never seen. But I think when you're talking about Kurt Russell, you can't talk about Kurt Russell without the Carpenter connection.
Yeah, I
Um.
mean, it is iconic. It's like the
Mm.
video game connections as well, because basically, Snake Plissken is the inspiration behind very, very famous Metal Gear Solid lead
Oh, okay.
character, Solid
Yeah.
Snake.
So I didn't
Um,
know that.
yeah, I think he referred to as Plissken in one of the a Snake Plissken in one of the games. I can't remember which one it is, but
Cool.
yeah. What did you think of this? Because I mean, as I've mentioned, I've watched it coming on 10 for
Mm.
times at least, so I know this
Yeah.
one like, pretty well.
Yeah. I thought it was great. It was very. I don't want to say by the numbers. I think that's the wrong word, but it's very straightforward. Character A has to save character B by going through route C, and he's going to come across different
Yeah.
obstacles along the way. Interesting characters. It felt it reminded me a little bit of. I mean, just because it's set in New York, I think the Warriors and the era.
Oh yeah, it's that
Had
sort
that
of.
feel about it.
I don't think it was shot in America. I think it was shot in
Okay,
Pittsburgh or something, if I remember correctly. But
right.
there was like a whole era of those movies where it's basically the city's a shithole and there's some gangs. And there
Yeah,
was loads of movies like that, just absolutely
yeah,
loads.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
it's yeah. I really like how it worked. Uh, Kurt Russell plays the sort of staunch hard man really well in this. A bit different from what we can look at later on. But yeah, I thought it was just a great action movie. I think that's the
yeah,
best way to kind of describe it.
it is very meat and potatoes, but
Yeah, that's the word. The phrase. Sorry.
I really appreciate that though,
Mm,
because there's like action movies are so different these days. Because what an action movie is always I don't know, it's always over the top. It's always more than it needs to be. Um,
yeah.
and for me anyway, you want an action movie to be simple and just get the job done. It's not the sort of movie you watch when you want to be challenged in any way or overwhelmed by the explosions and the practical, no, not the practical, the digital effects. It's just
Yeah.
a guy with an eye patch. I don't think it ever explains why he has an eye patch, but
No. Or why he's
um,
called Snake. Apart
he
from he
just
has a
goes and
snake
does
tattoo.
a job. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, as you said, action movies now are the first one is set for developing the second and the third, and
yeah.
there's a small handful. You get first John Wick movie is a guy gets his car stolen and get someone kills his dog, and it goes, and he is then going after the culprits, and that's kind of the closest we get to it. But then they develop it, don't they? It makes so much money that it gets. And I know this had a less than stellar sequel, which again I've not seen.
Don't
Um,
don't change that. It's bad.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and now though, like, and maybe actually, uh, Nobody, the first Nobody was quite straightforward-ish,
yeah.
like,
It's just a
but
guy who has a hidden past. He has a run in with Russian
caught up.
gangsters, and his old life comes back out to
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
we're maybe getting
essentially.
a bit more of a throwback then, but. everything else you watch is it's also very bland. Like a lot of action movies now are 12. You know, the old R-rated style like this and 18s and Commando and things like that are hard to find.
Yeah,
They're all mass marketed. They've got someone like The Rock in it. And it's just beige. It's just and I've kind of touched on the Fast and the Furious movies, and the I've not seen them. But
I've
the
seen a
reason I've not seen
handful.
them is
Yeah,
because and they've got more and more ridiculous. Mission Impossible, you go and see them. I enjoy the Mission Impossible movies, but it's all about the over the top stunt. You want to find out which way Tom Cruise has tried to kill himself this edition and failed. We assume.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, he can work wonders. Well, less wonders, but you know what I mean. Um, everything's maybe a bit more over the top now, and
yeah.
getting it to kind of stripped back way we've got this is it's just a guy running about, really. Like,
It's got such a fun cast, though. It's not just a guy
mm,
running about in a vest and an eye patch
mm,
with like a snake tattoo on his arm. It's
just shooting random people.
yeah. It's the players as well. Lee Van Cleef is sort of the guy in charge. I mentioned Ergus Borgnine, who
Mm,
is this
Gabby.
taxi driver who is like really, really fun taxi driver. Donald Pleasance, amazing actor as a president.
Yeah.
Isaac Hayes is this gang boss.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird. Who
Yeah.
else is in it? Uh, Jamie Lee Curtis is
Uh,
in it, apparently.
oh, really?
What was she called? Harry Dean Stanton's in it. Uh,
Mm.
Adrienne Barbeau,
Tom
who's done.
Atkins?
Adrienne Barbeau, I think, was John Carpenter's wife for a while. Tom
Oh, okay.
Atkins. It's just this great cast,
Mm.
really.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you get Harry Dean Stanton plays quite a pivotal role in it, and I think he's just. I always imagine Harry Dean Stanton as being old because just the kind of
Yeah,
first introduction to him. Even watching Alien, like you still get a bit. Oh, it's Harry Dean Stanton, and you've got to wonder how much Isaac Hayes must be kicking himself for falling out with the South Park guys now, because that must have been a
oh
good 15 years ago, and they're now he would have been rolling it in if he hadn't
yeah,
been. I think they took the piss out of Scientology, didn't they? And then he just took the huff with them.
yeah. The rumor was that he was fine with it, but the Scientology guys weren't, and they're the ones that did all it.
Ah, okay.
So that's a
Yeah.
pity, but um, yeah. I mean, it's such a good cast, and it's not just it's setting up this world which is really interesting. It doesn't feel like
Mm,
an action movie which starts when the credits happen, and then when the credits roll at the end of the movie, that's it. The world doesn't exist anymore.
yeah.
I mean, it has this. I love these sort of sci-fi's. These stupid, stupid sci-fi's where it
Mm,
has like a year which isn't very long away for something wild, really ridiculous to happen. Like
yeah.
1997, America is going to become this ridiculously law-breaking state where they have to basically cut off one of their states to become a prison island.
Mm.
Um,
You
it's
I wonder
it's
if
ridiculous.
there's mention of, I think it's the Soviets and China, isn't there, in it? Um,
Yeah,
and I wonder, would it be tail end of Cold War? Maybe they're thinking,
1981. I think so.
mm,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
my,
much of it
my
left.
American Cold War history isn't the best. So maybe they're thinking that there's going to be some catastrophic incident. And they're trying to work together. Or the whole point in saving the president is to get his message to China and the USSR to work together. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just it's quite a difficult movie to talk in depth about because it is very meat and potatoes, as you said. Like it is, Snake has
yeah.
a job. He goes into the grounds of New York, the kind of ground zero, and is working his way through to get it.
It's got some great action
It's kind of it.
sequences.
It does, yeah.
I mean, the chase at the end over the bridge is a great one.
Mm,
The car
yeah.
chase. It has one of John Carpenter's most iconic scores, I think. But again,
Aye.
they're all pretty great after a point. It
Mhm.
just doesn't really put a foot wrong, but nobody will ever admit it's the favourite. It's just uh, it's a comfortable pair of shoes, is where I see a movie like this.
Yeah. I think I would need to watch it again. Like, something like Scores, pick up on sometimes. I'm not a huge like, I can appreciate that I'm not I don't have the full focus on it, so I don't notice it as much, but it's
Yeah.
still affecting me in the background as you're watching. Because if it was silent, you would notice, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um, it's something that I would need to rewatch in terms of Carpenter and favorites. I've seen a lot more of his movies, a lot more than I've seen this. I watch Halloween every Halloween. It's one of my favorite horrors. And that's the well-known, score, if you will.
Yeah.
And even Prince of Darkness, I've seen 4 or 5 times. Mouth of Madness, I've seen a few times. The Thing is kinda if I've actually maybe not seen The Thing as much as the rest of them for again, strange reasons, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
It's a
and
pretty intense movie, the thing.
mm, and I think it was one that through kinda cultural osmosis, I'd known a lot about before I seen it. So,
Yeah.
I was less inclined to get really deep dive deep dive deep into it. But yeah, I mean, these are all great movies. Escape
Absolutely. I mean,
from New York, it would certainly be up there.
the collaborations that Kurt Russell and John Carpenter did together. I mean,
Mm,
that's a pretty flawless run, to be honest. I'm not sure I can. Well, flawless until the final one, then maybe not. Put that one to bed. But Escape from New York, The Thing. What
mm.
else was there? Oh, I
Big
completely
Trouble,
forgot.
Little China, that's no
Big
is
Trouble
that
in Little China. That was another one.
yeah.
And maybe there's another one I'm forgetting, but Escape from LA is the last one. Where my
Mm,
overriding memory of that is he's on a surfboard on some really shitty CG sort of tsunami, and Bruce
right, okay.
Campbell's in it as well as this sort of mad surgeon who chops people up. Um,
Well, he started out as well, didn't he, with Elvis? That was him and Carpenter.
yeah, I think that's a TV
That
movie,
was the
which
first one? Ah, okay.
um,
I've seen it, but a while ago.
yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not a big Elvis guy, so yeah, like
No.
likelihood of me watching a white guy pretending to be a black guy isn't
Fair enough.
not
But, it's
do
not a
this.
bad one to start off with together, like, as you said, okay, at the end, the last one isn't gonna win any awards. Realise
Oh
when
no, I
would
mean
that have been? This
it will have won
so you
Razzies.
talk 15 years later it was they done that.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I thought it was a lot sooner.
yeah, they will have done. I think they have won a decent number of Razzies. Escape from LA because they have to be like that.
Yeah.
They're just
Mm.
the shits of the awards scene. But
Is it
as far as
is
a
it that bad,
collaboration,
or is it just not as good as New York? Is it that bad?
you
Like,
see, here's the thing. It's one of those things where you watch something as a kid and you think, this is ridiculous,
mm,
and you should go about your merry way. And you watch action movies now, blockbusters now, and then you go back and watch this movie that you thought was crap when you were a kid, and it's actually better than you remember it being. Whether
okay.
it's because it's actually a decent movie or because the ones that are being made now are a bit shit, I don't know. But it's happened so many times, that sort of thing. I'm not saying it's going to happen with
Mm,
Escape from LA because it has the tsunami surfing scene,
mm.
um, but it's,
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah,
iconic
I'll maybe
character.
give it a watch. But I'm not in a
Yeah, I mean, you've probably seen far worse movies, to be honest.
oh god, yeah, probably the
Yeah,
last week.
yeah, yeah. But like you say, it's hard to talk about Escape from LA. New York, sorry, because you just end up
Mm.
saying, and this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened.
Aye, yeah. As you
And
said, it's got a great cast and great performances, and Isaac Hayes is just always good value, isn't he? He's always his voice
yeah, he's
booming
just a
into
cool
any
guy.
scene just adds to it. Aye, pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how well it did, but where does it fall in his career for John Carpenter to have a look? See, it's pretty early, 1981. So
Mm,
where are we? Organised by newest first, 1981. So yeah, that's very early.
yeah.
Dark
Talking
Stars,
Halloween.
Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, Elvis, The Fog, then Escape
Mm,
from New York. I mean, it was part of it. I think it's deep into his sort of a killer run from like Assault on Precinct 13 to where are we? It's hard to say because he had
realised.
one lapse. The Invisible Man is a bad movie with
Right, okay.
a Chevy Chase who is the worst actor in Hollywood, not as his ability, just as a person.
Yeah, aye. Yeah.
Up until like In the Mouth of Madness, so
Yeah.
it's part of his
Strong
killer
run.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, anyway, else Carpenter's done anything worthwhile, but
He does
he's
music
just, he's
stuff.
just, yeah, he still tours, doesn't he, as well? He did a
Yeah.
show at LA last
He's a
couple of
weird
weeks.
guy because apparently he wrote the story for a video game, and that video game was basically just you're in a car and there's a load of monsters coming towards you, and you got to kill all the monsters, and that's it. And it was like this big thing. John
Oh,
Carpenter's making a game, and it's like, well, that's it. Okay, fair enough.
sounds like Mouth of Madness or something along those
Um,
lines.
and there's a story that happened a little while ago. Whether there's any truth in it or how far they are into it, I don't know. But apparently, he's working on a script for The Thing Part Two, on The Thing Two, which is, as far as unnecessary
Mm.
sequels go,
Yeah.
it's up there.
They had a Thing video game, didn't they? And that
Yeah,
was set after. Did you play McCready?
I'm not
Was
sure who you
McCready in it?
played as, but
And then the Thing, which was the kind of stealth prequel that everyone thought was a remake, which was actually okay for
yeah,
especially around that era.
it was it was basically what happened in the Danish camp, but it was exactly the
Hmm.
same thing because
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
just
really
much.
do a different thing in the same sort of camp. It's
Yeah,
it's the one
yeah, exactly.
story thing. But yeah, I
I mean, if
remember
they're
that
doing
because the heating was broken in the cinema, and it was like the most perfect 4D experience.
aye, aye. I don't mind it, but yeah, I'm sure when I watched it, I thought it was a remake, like a full on just.
Yeah, I
That was
think it was
before I really knew.
before the prequel slash remake era. It must have been like an
Mm,
early component of that whole thing. I don't know, but yeah,
uh,
it's it's fun. It's like a movie you put on sort of like late, after the pub or something when you just don't want to think.
mm, yeah, definitely. Aye,
Um,
100%. It could be I think it'd be a good one in the summer when you kind of get the windows open and chilling out with a beer and watching that later nights. Like I'd quite like to watch it in that. The
yeah,
cold now is just I don't know. Doesn't feel like it
yeah.
fitted.
With pardon me, with Kurt Russell in it, he is still charismatic, even though he doesn't really speak a lot, which I think says a lot
Mm,
about his just his natural charisma and his body language. I think because he's still very likable despite being depicted as this unlikable rogue who
yeah.
would happily destroy America because he doesn't like it.
Yeah. I could agree with him on that.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
this is the one at the end where he has that tape, and he doesn't share
Mm-hmm.
it, doesn't he? If I remember
Yeah, he
correctly.
tears it up, rips it up, and then it plays Donald Pleasance is trying to play his message to China and USSR, and it plays a I can't remember what song it is that plays through instead, and it cuts to him ripping the tape up, and that's kind of just it. We never know what the message is about. We don't need
Yeah.
to. That wasn't what the movie was about. It was about
Nah,
him saving the president. He saved the president. He got left. He got. I think they. He was given. He wasn't given immunity or something, but he was hardened for all his previous crimes.
yeah, I
Aye,
mean, I think around this
there we
time
go.
that must have been sort of the Rambo era. So it makes sense that sort of that's what they wanted for it.
Mm.
But maybe it wasn't as successful given that Rambo has how many? About
God,
half a
5
dozen at
sequels
least.
maybe now.
Yeah, and
First Blood Part 2, Rambo
this just has
3.
the one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's where a lot of Carpenter's movies never make a lot of money though, do they? They never
Not
have.
really.
Certainly, maybe in hindsight they do. Like Halloween, the first one, I'm assuming now has made a ton of money
Oh yeah,
overall,
yeah,
just through everything, through merchandise, through licensing, through all sorts. But at the time of the release, Carpenter stuff never seems to do
yeah.
mega bucks. And I don't think
Trying
he's
to
a really
think.
a guy that's interested in sequels either.
No, not really. Which makes sort of his escape from LA. That feels like a studio obligation.
Mm,
And maybe he's just sick of people debating who survives, like McCready or Childs at the end of the thing. So he's like, "All right, I'm just going to tell you, behave.
yeah.
I've had enough."
Aye, it could be, yeah.
Yeah, because they'd have to move that to a city. One of them's rescued
Mm,
and move it to a city. Otherwise, it's not really a sequel. It's just the same thing happening somewhere else.
yeah. Be a strange one because they'd have had to have lived for a long time if you're going to bring back Kurt Russell or
Yeah, like
the
maybe
head.
cast his kid, like Wyatt,
Eh, could
as him.
actually, yeah. Just say it's McCready.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll move to the next movie, which isn't quite
Huh.
as positive of an experience. That's what is the year? I think it's 1989, if I remember. Yeah, 1989's
Oh,
Tango and Cash, directed by Andrei Konchalovsky.
Konchalovsky, yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, what is Tango and Cash?
As always with my synopsis, I'm just going to read from the IMDb.
That's
Framed
fine.
by their ruthless arch nemesis, a pair of mismatched LAPD officers must put their differences aside to get even with the brutal crime baron who sent them to rot in a maximum security prison.
Yeah. This is the one I was talking about earlier, where what do you call he? Oh, his name's gone now. From Roadhouse. His name's totally gone.
Oh, Swayze, Patrick Swayze.
Oh, there we go. Patrick Swayze was supposed to do it, but he was going to do Roadhouse. So to fill in this role that Sylvester Stallone plays, it's comedic. It's kind of arrogant. It's very flash.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and apparently that
Almost
caused problems in the
bookish.
production. Yeah.
Um, what we can say from the off, right? So Stallone is Raymond Tango and Kurt Russell's Gabriel Cash. Stallone cannot compete on screen with Kurt Russell. Swayze might have been able to.
Yeah, he had the charisma, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Stallone trying to deliver some of these lines are, God, it's so bad. Even just right from the off, when he has the
Yeah.
line about Rambo being a pussy, and I was, oh, I wonder if that was put in when they were maybe getting Swayze, but
Yeah.
like that meta, that sort of meta comedy didn't work. And
No.
anytime they are on screen together, you can tell who's good. You know, Stallone's a good actor. That's maybe been unfair. Like,
He had his
but
strengths
uh,
and sort of the
he's just right. Exactly. Yeah. Like the 80s was obviously Stallone versus Arnie. You know,
yeah, it was.
Arnie can do comedy a lot more because he's so over the top. Like,
He's willing to make fun of himself. I
mm,
felt. I mean, even
but
this
he's just
role.
such a such an over the top character. He's such an over the top. Everything he plays is loud and shouting and facial expressions that are all over the place.
Yeah,
Stallone before this, oh, but obviously did a lot more before this, but you're talking Rocky and Rambo.
basically, yeah.
They're very,
And
like,
yeah, Rocky and Rambo. Yeah, basically
yeah,
two quite serious roles.
yeah, and quite
And
understated.
I guess this is also you see one of these things. Is it a comedy, or is it just because it's aged in a certain way? It kind of feels a bit campy. You can never tell with these things because it's essentially like one's the sort of the inner city cop
Mm,
or the suburb cop who gets like sort of the high profile crimes. He wears nice suits. He's very affluent. He does it because he likes the excitement and the most American thing
yeah,
ever. He likes playing with guns, apparently.
yeah,
He's introduced basically stopping a in the most 80s scene imaginable. He just pulls his car up ahead of a sort of a truck thing, like
yeah,
carrying whatever, like oil or whatever, like huge tanker, and he starts shooting at the window. It's like, yeah,
yeah.
that's just stupid. It's stupid American stuff.
Aye,
And then he does the job. They both fall out the front window, and then he wisecracks something,
aye.
and that's where the sort
Snowing
of
or something.
the Rambo is a pussy line comes in. Um,
Aye, and it all goes up downhill from there. Maybe I don't know. Well, actually,
yeah.
maybe gets better slightly.
And then
I don't know if it's trying
introducing
to.
like Kurt Russell is a bit more. He's the inner city cop. He basically lives in
Mm,
a like a dead end flat. Uh, he wears a variety of vests. uh,
they
he's
all look
just
good.
he's an everyman. He's like the everyest of
Yeah,
everymen.
yeah.
And yeah, they're sort of thrown together with a criminal who wants to get rid of them.
Mm,
And they've got to sort
Jack
of get back
Palance.
at the criminal, the mastermind behind this whole sort of drug running thing. I mean, the plot that the bad guys are sort of pushing is a bit vague. It's just we want to move drugs, and the cops are too good, so we've got to get rid of the cops.
Yeah,
That,
Tango. It's Jack
that's it.
Palance, isn't it? He's the one that's the kind of main lead. You've got James Hong as Quan is
Yeah,
there as well, but it's mostly Jack Palance that's pushing the agenda against Tango and Cash because he's getting done by them no matter what. And it doesn't know what it wants to be because you've got the initial setup, and then you've got a prison breakout movie, and then you've got a chase kinda movie, and a couple of double crosses. It's just very messy. And I think it is meant to be a comedy. I think, we'd have had a few buddy cop type movies by then. It's almost trying to play them up for me. It
yeah.
just doesn't. I genuinely think the majority of the issue is Stallone. Like, I think this could have been a daft enough the 80s buddy cop movie, and
Oh
Stallone
yeah,
just doesn't work.
absolutely. He just doesn't have that. I don't know what it is. It's not like
Likability.
he likability. Yeah, yeah. It's just the wrong role for him as well. It's this like very urban, smart, intellectual guy
Mm,
who's interested in the arts. He throws one-liners. He's loves
yeah,
his sister, who's played by Terry Hatcher, who's
yeah,
very young in this.
yeah, yeah, she would be, aye. God,
Um,
probably.
but it's just not right for him. And I
No,
think if
no.
he has like, it's like anything, acting is reacting,
Mm,
and Kurt Russell's great, but he has to react against somebody who's totally out of their depth.
mhm. Yeah,
Um,
like
in
it's
essence,
dealing with, as we said, Swayze in that. I think you're talking a much better movie. Um, the it's them, they're walking through just after they went to jail, and there's a bit of back and forth with them. But there's also never, I think one of the issues with it as well, apart from Stallone, there's never really, they don't really bump heads much. They're like known to each other, and you think there's not even really a rivalry. It's just this
Not
weird.
really.
I don't know.
It's like
Yeah,
one's
like
the
you
east
think they would
side, one's
maybe.
the west side, so they're not like competing
Yeah,
for the same thing. They're just completely different jurisdictions. So
yeah. You would think they would. I don't know. It just felt off watching it the whole time. It there was so much that didn't land, and
it does have
it
its
felt messy. There's some funny bits, like
it's some
there's some
good
half
bits.
decent action bits. Yeah,
I think the prison escape sequence or the whole prison sequence is very strong,
yeah,
and the car sort of chaos sequence at the end
mm, yeah,
was incredibly big and brash and explosive.
hmm
But
yeah. Very 80s.
you can have that sort of thing in any movie, and it's not what matters really. I mean, I know
No,
people love the action sequences in action movies, but at the end of the day, the thing that sort of strings it all together is how the characters are with each other.
hmm
And in this case, it's got like a great Kurt Russell, a classic Kurt Russell performance, being this cocky little shit, who's very likable, but has this sort of like little glint in his eye, you know.
hmm
And
Yeah,
you
you
have
mean,
somebody who's clearly awkward in his own skin being in this role, and it's just
yeah.
it comes back to that, I think.
Stallone's best scenes, I think, are when it's the Clint Howard parts where he's dealing with him, and it's the character Slinky. He calls just because, but that's more Clint Howard just being a bit weird.
Robert Zar as well, who might
Yeah.
not be a familiar name, but apparently he had this condition in his face that basically made his jawbone basically grow to an excess.
Oh, is that the
Um,
big gin guy? I thought that was meant to be part of his kind of character look, which it is
uh,
written into the movie that way. But I didn't realise
yeah,
that was an
it's
actual
very
condition.
rare. I mean, it's fair enough. It does. You would think never having seen that thing before. That, oh, look, that looks like prosthetics, but no, it's like a medical condition. It's super rare.
Mm.
Because he's also in Maniac Cop, the Bruce
Oh, okay.
Campbell movie. He's the
Yeah.
maniac cop in question. So if I didn't see him before, I wouldn't have thought, hang on, that looks, you know. But yeah, his roles with Robert Zar, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, they have something because it's not about him being sort of this character. It's just him being in these action sequences.
Yeah. Aye. It's about the situation more than the character that kind of
Yeah,
makes it work.
which I think is okay because I don't think Swayze, not Swayze, Kurt Russell has any scenes like that. Um, not
He's the kind
really.
of no. He's the sort of well. Firstly, he's the good actor. Um, he's got the kind of he's the ladies' man as well with Terry Hatcher, sorry, Hatcher. Um, but he has the that kind of back and forth with Stallone and Catherine is the character name for Terry Hatcher.
Keek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big I suppose he gets the you need to give Stallone something though because if you're relying on him to be funny, you're going to struggle.
yeah. I mean, it's again, it's the same sort of position that Escape from New York is in the sense of it's a late night movie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not big, it's not clever. But in the case of Escape from New York, it doesn't have this one element which is causing issues
hmm
and just struggles to you know, uh, be to buy into it.
yeah,
But I think it's just maybe it's not that it's that Sylvester Stallone's wrong for it. It's at the wrong point of his career because, as we said, he's not far off Rocky and Rambo here. I don't know what else he would have done around this era. What would have prepared him for this sort of thing? It wasn't until I don't know Demolition Cop, where is that the right movie? Am I thinking of? Yeah,
Demolition
Demolition
Man.
Cop, Demolition Man. That's the one. Yeah, and where he learned how to poke fun at himself, really.
Aye.
And that wasn't sort of jokey sort of way. It was just what happened to the character, really.
Aye. Yeah. Aye, it's just
And I know we've talked a lot about him, and it is an episode about Kurt Russell, but
mm,
it's the chemistry thing. It's the relationship that the two actors had, and it just feels. It doesn't feel like they're acting opposite each other. It feels like they're saying things to each other and waiting for the other one to just respond.
yeah. Sorry, I've taken a complete blank. I didn't know you should have. Yeah, it's I don't know. Do you know what? I think I gave this like a 3 on Letterboxd, and I think I'm just in a good mood. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I was largely the same.
yeah.
It's it passes the time. I don't know why it's remembered really, because there's so many movies of this type of that era
Hmm.
that do the same
Yeah.
thing so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
How this one's maintained some sort of legacy. It's odd, really.
Could be the names involved with it, really. You know, it could be Russell and Stallone at that time, two of the biggest in the world, probably.
Yeah, it's a pity, you know. Again, it's another hard movie to talk about. We've not picked great this week,
Oh.
but in the case of this one, you know, this is the first time one for me as well.
Yeah. The last time as well for me, I think.
So it's
First
same.
and last.
It's not a movie where you can expect to be able to talk about it at great depth. It's fine,
Right.
really. It's the sort of movie that your dad probably likes.
Aye. Although I did ask my dad about it today, and he said it was shite. So,
Okay, maybe not your dad then.
aye.
but you know, it's the sort of like you get those now. That's what I call dad rock albums, and
Mm,
even though
yeah.
what they put on there now is what we listened to when we were younger, which is really insulting. But
You're in
yeah,
our dad rock era.
it's um, yeah, it's that sort of thing, isn't it? Really, the stereotypical
Aye.
dad movie.
Aye. Yeah, I can see a lot of people watching it as a casual after, although it's an 18. Like,
I don't know what for.
it's no, like, there's not a huge amount of swearing. There's not any sex in it. Some
Lots of
innuendo and a wee bit
guns
of
being
violence.
fired, but there's no like gore or wounds
No,
or anything.
no. I wonder if it was just one of these ones they've not known how to rate things
Maybe
with.
it's for sort of the
Just
lack of understanding of science, because there is a
mm,
bit where I'm not sure if it's even. I mean, it can't be right. Where they say we can jump off that electrical wire. It only electricity will only go through us and murder us if we put our feet on the ground. And
yeah,
I thought that does not
well,
sound
that's
right.
strange. Wonder if anyone died from that.
That feels like
Tango
it's a
Cash said it was
risky.
fine.
That feels very risky. You know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. Um,
Mm,
but not a scientist, so I couldn't say. So that leads us to the final movie, which I think is a lot more to talk about. This one, it's 1990. Where are we?
mm,
1993's Tombstone, directed by the daddy of Panos Cosmatos, George P. Cosmatos, who is a very colourful character.
mm,
And Tombstone's a pretty. It's a classic western, sort of in the '90s mold. We've got Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp. We've got Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, Sam
mm.
Elliott as his brother Virgil, and Bill Paxton as his other brother Morgan. And they're coming to this town called Tombstone.
Yeah.
And they're just sort of milling about. They get involved in sort of some level of law enforcement, taking over the local casino. But
Mhm.
there's a gang, a weirdly named gang, which just it feels really low effort, called the Cowboys that are in town.
Really?
Um,
Yeah.
and there's a conflict between the two groups, which just escalates and escalates until
Mm.
it has a couple of decent big peak shootouts. But
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of Tombstone?
Out of the three, this was my favourite. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, it's again, we kind of touched on it a wee bit there. I'm not big on westerns, but this just had a different feel about it. You touched on the cast there, but that's just kind of scratching the surface. You
Mm.
know, I didn't even know that Ike, until coincidentally, when a podcast I listen to called We Hate Movies just released an episode this morning on Tombstone.
Oh,
So I was listening to that today,
okay.
and I did not realise that Ike was Stephen Lang.
Hmm,
Like,
didn't
that
know
does
that
not
either.
look like Stephen Lang.
No.
It just, and you're looking at that, you've got Billy Bob Thornton turning up for a blink and you'll miss it. You've got Michael Rooker.
Uh,
Powers Booth's obviously in it. Billy Zane's in it as well. You've got Terry O'Quinn from Lost rocking up briefly. You've got John Huston even in a sort of cameo scene. Um, and I forget the guy's name. Um, he's in Spider-Man 3. He plays the Sandman. Uh,
hidden,
well,
hidden something.
Thomas Hayden Church.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Thomas Hayden, Thomas Hayden Church. Do you know, the cast is ridiculous. Um,
yeah,
it's fun. It's a very fun movie, which is maybe being a bit reductive, but it was enjoyable right from the off. We're here to talk about Kurt Russell, obviously, but this is just, for me, it's all about Val Kilmer. And
yeah,
again, it was a first time watch for me, and I've always heard about Tombstone and Doc Holliday and how great Val Kilmer is in it, and
yeah,
his kind of OTT style of playing Doc Holliday is just fantastic throughout it. And
yeah. Because on Kurt Russell, his role in it, he's sort of like segueing into the veteran era of his career, but
mm,
it doesn't mean he's like sort of given plain sailing to just be the lead guy. Val Kilmer
yeah,
completely steals the show from underneath him as this
yeah,
version of Doc Holliday who's basically dying of consumption.
yeah. I think he's got, is it is it TB he's got or something along those lines? And but
Yeah,
also he's staying up all night, drinking, gambling, smoking. You know, he's
yeah,
just falling to bits essentially. But
he's killing himself
Michael
for it.
Bean, I never even mentioned Michael Bean. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's just this incredible performance from Val Kilmer as this.
Mm,
It's man falling to pieces. He's just
yeah,
picking a fight with anybody over nothing. No hope, but he's horribly poetic about it as well.
yeah,
But it's just so physical and sort of intellectual at the same time. It's a
hmm,
brilliant performance.
yeah.
I imagine it was very
And I
hard
think
for him,
the
very hard for him to do and come back from because it just seems like such a demanding role for any actor.
yeah, I think the makeup department done a great job on him as well. He looks pale without looking overly makeup. He's constantly sweating. Um,
Yeah,
and just some of his line delivery in it. When there's a scene with Billy Bob Thornton is taking umbrage to Wyatt Earp's character, uh, Kurt Russell's character of Wyatt Earp, and he's approaching him with a shotgun, and Doc Holliday kind of interrupts it, and then he's like, "Johnny, I didn't know you were there. You can leave now, and just leave your shotgun. On you go." There is an element, again, a comedic element to it, actually quite more than I was expecting in this movie. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as jovial. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of drama involved as well, but I think this is a great balance of everything all throughout it. I know one thing I would say, it can be a wee bit choppy at times, but I think this had. I think the writer of this started out directing and was fired after a month because he was already miles behind.
yeah. That
And
sounds like
when
'90s Hollywood.
yeah, and the director, Constant, oh god, sorry, that's mean Greek names. Um,
George
George P.
P.
Cosmatos.
Cosmatos.
Aye, Cosmatos. He was brought on board, but then there's talk of that Kurt Russell done a lot of the directing,
It's one
and
of those.
he, aye, so it
Yeah.
definitely feels there is choppy elements to it. Maybe in the editing as well, that I thought
Yeah.
stuck out a wee bit. But I don't think it detracts from it at all in terms of
Oh,
the
no.
enjoyment I got out of it.
And it's a great performance and a great role for Kurt Russell as well. I mean, for one, it
Mm,
shows either whether it's a stick-on mustache or it's his own. It's another Kurt Russell movie with great facial hair. Uh,
yeah, and he's up
but
against the king of mustaches in Sam Elliott, and he holds his own.
yeah, I mean Sam Elliott. Nobody knows who he is, but if you say the guy with a gruff voice and a mustache, you think, he's got
But
white
he
hair
was
too.
50
There
when
you
this
go.
was filmed, you know? Like, you see Sam Elliott now, and it doesn't look much different. He was in his,
Yeah,
I think he had just turned 50 when this was made. It's
he just hit
incredible.
15, and it's like that's it. I'm stopping aging.
Pretty much pickled. That was it.
But
He
yeah,
just still looks the same.
it's a great cast all the way through, and everybody's good in it, which is the
Mm.
amazing thing. But Kurt Russell does pull it together. It's a weird character though. Um,
Yeah.
it's a very selfish character, I think.
Mm.
Because he is at this point in his career, he's sort of well known as a lawman.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want anything to do with it. But
Y-
his brothers have been sort of brought up with this and live with this for ages, and they just can't turn it off. So it's like a conflict there. And
Aye.
his Wyatt Earp, sorry, acts a bit prissy with that at times, a little
Mm.
bit too protesting a little bit too much,
Yeah.
which makes him a
Yeah, there's
hard character
scenes.
to empathise with. Really, when he's being so stubborn about not doing something which is just the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam Elliott is the one that wants to take on the kind of lawman role, isn't he?
Yeah,
And Kurt Russell's just like, no, I've done that. Kind of I've paid my dues. I'm now here to make my fortune, which is what it's all based around, isn't it? They're all
yeah,
making their way to Tombstone because that's where the gold rush is, or the that weird American West town has been just randomly popped up as it seems to do. Um, and it ends up leading to loss, and they think it's the gunfight at the OK Corral, that kind of famous gunfight, which has caused pretty much Russell's not wanting to do it, and
yeah,
he's big-headed to an extent. You know,
yeah. He is.
he want he wants the riches, but he doesn't want to have to work for it. Not that he doesn't want to have to work for it. He doesn't want to have to fight for it the way that you have to in these what seems to be in these times anyway.
These border towns, yeah. Which it's an
Mm.
interesting character, because it still has everything that makes a Kurt Russell character interesting. He's still very likable despite his stubbornness.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he just picks up a lot of stray feelings from who plays the character. It's another one of those faces where it's like, I know her. She's in all sorts of things. Um, let's see if I can find it again. Sorry, I closed the tab.
So,
Tombstone. Um, who was it? Because he has a love interest in it, and that seems to be like a big part of it. Yeah, there it is. It's not a name that's familiar, but it's one
Dana
of those faces. Dana
Dana
Delaney.
Delaney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She picks up stray feelings for Wyatt Earp, who is a very
Yeah.
familiar face as well. You might not know her, but you'll know her from her TV roles. She was in one of those. There was so many of them about 10, 15 years ago. Of a person who does one job and sort of moonlights as a police officer, like solving crimes. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was a huge deal.
Right.
But She's one of those famous TV faces. She catches
Oh, she,
feelings.
she was with one of our favourites, Sylvester Stallone in Tulsa King.
Oh, that's pretty recent as well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, a great TV cop drama, if you believe the adverts. But yeah,
Mm,
I mean, he's in his
yeah.
80s now. If he was like a criminal, he would have retired and handed it off to the next generation. So I don't buy those shows.
Or being killed, more than likely.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Um, but it's just such a nice series of character dynamics in Tombstone. I
mm,
think make it work.
yeah.
And all of these relationships center around Wyatt Earp and Kurt Russell,
Yeah.
because Doc Holliday is the only Wyatt Earp is the only friend Doc Holliday has.
Hmm. Yeah. And, his brothers are there. They've not seen each other. And I think it says one of them says 17 years, maybe.
Yeah,
And sort of something crazy, brothers just, that I've not seen you for 17 years. That's just a casual thing mentioned. So that's the dynamic with him. You've got the dynamic with Dana Delaney being the love interest while he's there with his wife, who is an opium addict or something, a methadone addict. I'm not 100% sure of what she's
I think it's
chugging the
opium
whole
around those
time.
times, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, it would have been Ali Earp. Ali Earp. That's easy to say. Um, and then they also, the Cowboys take umbrage to the fact that he's even there because he's a lawman.
yeah,
So yeah, it all falls around. And I didn't realise until I'd watched this. I didn't know White Earp was a real person. Like, but the whole thing about him was that he moved. I think he moved west, like Hollywood area, and
yeah.
wrote a story about himself and embellished um his whole persona and his whole kind of get up. He would have lived until I think he lived until the mid 40s or something, 1940s. So he was around when that sort of golden age Hollywood
Yeah.
type,
It
and
does say in
why
the
there's so
end.
many stories about him.
It does say in the end credit crawl that he died in Hollywood, and one of the famous names of the time cried at his funeral. I can't remember who it said,
Yeah,
but it was one of
yeah.
the Western guys. And not being a Western fan, it could have been any of them, honestly.
Aye. Yeah, and
Um,
then you also see why, like the Doc Holliday thing. Doc Holliday, I think, died in 1980 or 18. He died in like 1889 or something. Age of like 33. Like,
yeah,
and
so he had a bad run then.
yeah, he was very young when he died. But there's been a few movies made about him as well, and that's probably been from Wyatt Earp being able to have that influence over Hollywood. If he's had
Yeah,
it, I mean,
it's
what would records have been back then? They'd have been word of mouth. Records would have been very scarce
yeah, because
in
around
terms
that
of what was
time, like
actually.
the ability to read and write wasn't that common. So yeah, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
Especially in like frontier. I mean, I know America is a big, great country now,
Mm.
but back then it was just basically a dust
Lots of
bowl,
bumfuck nowhere.
really. Yeah.
Aye.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Kurt Russell's great in this. It wouldn't work without him. Uh, Val
No.
Kilmer is the heart of it, but at the same time, it's the connective glue is Kurt Russell, and without him,
Mhm.
it's just a load of separate scenes that don't really have any sort of meaning. And it's
Yeah.
also the start of like a new phase of his career. Before this, he was sort of like the uh, cocky young man,
Mhm.
likable,
Yeah.
um, cocksure
Yeah.
of himself. But now it's in sort of the wizened old era where it
Mm.
takes him. I mean, he does come back around to being likable again, but
Yeah.
it's just
He's
sort of
still,
like
I just
middle
think he's
point.
still. Yeah, I do think he's still likable. And this, from what I know and what I've seen of Kurt Russell, I would probably put this as his best performance. There's a bit of melodrama in it as well. When just after, how are we going? How spoilery are we going to go?
As much as you
Are
want
we
to,
going full
really.
spoil? Yeah, just after Morgan dies, and
It's
he
very
has
dramatic,
the
yeah.
scene. Yeah, it's very that it's almost. Do you know? I was thinking about it, it felt almost Twin Peaksy in its delivery when he's saying, "Get away from me," he's shouting at everyone that comes near him, "Get away," and he decides to walk out in the rain just with his hands, and he stumbles through a doorway. There's also a line delivery, there's a river, and he's totally surrounded, and he just decides that, "No, that's not gonna happen," and he just gets up and starts shouting, "No, no, no," and he's firing off, and there's, like, 100 bullets whizzing past his head, and it's just it 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 worked in relation to the film because it's almost, I don't want to say comic booky, that's not right, fantastical in its depiction of how the violence
Yeah,
occurred at times. Even his line delivery at the train station after he shoots Stillwell in the back and he's standing over Ike again. He says, oh God, what's the line? Uh, he says, "If I see anyone, the cowboys, anyone wearing a red sash, I'm going to kill them. Tell them I'm coming and hell's coming with me." I'm paraphrasing a wee bit, but and
yeah,
lightning's crashing, and then it leads into a fantastic montage. The line that he gets the lines, he gets the big lines, he gets the lines that melds and glues everything together.
he does. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, it's one of the very few westerns that I like. I'll admit to that.
Mm. I
Because
think it's because
again,
it feels modern though as well, modern made, doesn't it?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of modern westerns that sort of become just slow movies, and then there's the westerns that feel modern, which just genuinely feel like a good modern drama with action bits in. And this is one of those because
Aye,
there's some modern westerns that are just basically art cinema, and it's about one
aye.
person out in the middle of nowhere doing nothing, and they're very required taste. Um,
Um, it's not.
Whereas
No,
this,
I know.
it's
Did you know if it's again, as I said, it's been a blind spot for me, and I know everyone goes on about this movie. I know everyone goes on about Tombstone. I've just not got to it because, again, as you said, it's a western. It's not something I would ever pick up on.
no, I think it's quite common as well with the sort of millennial generation of not liking westerns,
Mhm.
because it was basically the stuff our parents and grandparents liked.
It was John Wayne, wasn't it? You
Yeah,
think of
it's
John
John
Wayne.
Wayne and Charlton Heston. They're basically
Hmm.
the reason for it,
Yeah.
and yeah, which is unfair to it. Um, and also Clint Eastwood, who did have a cool persona, but he's a mad old croak, to be honest, which
Aye.
doesn't do a great image for his movies, knowing that he'd turn into that. Uh,
Mm.
the
Still
guy
going, to
who,
be fair to him.
yeah, he's still going, but he was ranting and raving at a chair during the Obama presidential era,
Mm. Yeah.
which kind of, yeah, exposed him a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And he's got a very right wing sort of agenda too, so
But aye.
which
Aye.
which is the surprising thing about Kurt Russell as well, because apparently he's a
Which.
very right leaning guy.
Oh, okay.
And John Carpenter, the two of them are very close, but John Carpenter is the very liberal lefty guy, and
Mm.
and you won't think so because of the roles he plays, which kind of it just makes you think of Chris Pratt as well. He plays all of these sort of similar sort of roles, but
Yeah.
he's he's the same in that way. Very
I know.
traditional
Yeah.
Christianity sort of guy.
I know there was a thing a couple of days ago that came out, and it was kind of debunked where they said that all immigrants should just be deported, and I'd seen a headline about that, but that was turned out to be a lot of nonsense. Um, I know that, like, thing is, you can maybe be right leaning, but not be to the right the way things are now.
Oh no, he's not like
I
that.
think there's
No.
a yeah, I think that there is a distinction um, that everything's so what's the word without going too political. Everything's so polarized now between ultra left, ultra right. There's never really a centre.
Yeah, he's like centre right, which
Yeah, yeah.
it's still right, but it's not like the
No, he's
sort
not going to
where
join up ice like Dean Cain.
yeah, not that
Dean
not
Cain done
right.
that because he's fucking loser.
Yeah. But as far as I mean, most of his career is behind him. I think we can talk about move on from Tombstone and talk about his legacy. So, what do you think
Mm.
the legacy um, of Kurt Russell is? So, I don't think he's got a lot of movies left in him. He's still able to act fairly happily, but
I don't think
it
he
will.
really does though. Now,
Yeah,
like we've kind of the last movie. Yeah, it's been Christmas Chronicles and uh, Bone Tomahawk and uh, Guardians 2. Yeah, that's pretty much been it in the past decade. So he had the Monsters TV show, but in terms of movies, you're not
slim
looking at
pickings.
much.
Yeah,
Mm. As I say, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it feels like I mean, he doesn't need to. He's going to be worth an absolute fortune. Maybe he is the type that goes, you know what? I did see it as a job. I'll maybe pick
yeah,
up the odd wee bit, but I'm not
yeah. It's
massively bothered.
not going to be the sort of actor who's still knocking it out in the 80s, and it's
No.
just yeah. I mean, I never
Right.
understood those sort of actors. I mean, actors who've worked all of their lives into their 80s are going to be very, very well off.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that sort of actor, the Anthony Hopkins, the Sylvester Stallones of the world, it's got to be
Mm.
through boredom, I think.
Well, someone like Hopkins is maybe different. Kurt Russell's never been Oscar bait, which I think makes
No,
it a bit different as well.
yeah,
He's never really had roles that maybe I don't know what would happen with Tombstone and things like that, but he's never been the one that's going to borrow the awards season as such. So Hopkins is still, he won rightly or wrongly, won an Oscar recently,
yeah,
and he's always going to have that on his side. Kurt Russell's never been there. Maybe if he'd won one when he was younger, he'd have maybe been in the conversation a wee bit more. But awards are frivolous anyway. They mean absolutely nothing when Rami
yeah.
Malek can win for playing a caricature of Freddie Mercury. But
The
it's
world has its
yeah,
justice, though, because I don't think he's really worked much since then. So it kind of
yeah, yeah.
universal karma it out. But yeah, it largely agree with what you're saying. He's the sort of actor that people uh, genuinely love, and
Mm,
his roles mean something to them. Because
yeah,
I think
exactly.
through his work with John Carpenter, he's basically secured his immortality.
Hmm. Yeah,
Especially with the one-two punch of Big Trouble in Little China and The Thing. Those two movies will, yeah, they'll be relevant
yeah,
forever. I think, honestly.
hmm yeah. And the thing's been voted many a time the greatest horror movie that's ever been made. It tops lists. I- It's timeless, I think, because of the practical effects that were used in it, the way they were used, and how great they look. You
Oh
know,
yeah, and also it's
th-
another one where without that anchor, it just wouldn't work. And Kurt Russell is a great anchor for that movie.
yeah, yeah, and hopefully, I would love to see him in something. If Carpenter does a thing too, you know, yeah, I'll watch it. I don't think it will happen personally.
I
I
don't
think
either.
Carpenter's the type that would maybe do something and then just go, "Do you know what? I can't be bothered anymore." He doesn't particularly care for the sort of Hollywood norms. He would maybe
No.
get a studio on board and then just go, Nah, do you know what? Change my mind. You're not getting my script. Fuck off. You're meddling too much.
Yeah, he wouldn't
You know.
actually be like that because if you watched any of
Yeah.
his interviews, I love his movies, but he is a miserable bugger.
Aye.
So he would.
It's the substance he was recently criticising, wasn't it? Which I didn't massively disagree with him. I thought the substance was very average, but he said it was yeah. What did you like about it? Nothing. Okay, fair enough. Or when it ended or something, I think he said. Um, but yeah, I
Yeah,
would watch Kurt Russell if he thrown up and something, and I have watched Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2, where they're not great movies. You've got Kurt Russell in one, and I think Goldie Hawn's just in the second one as Mrs. Claus.
Hmm.
I'll
Yeah,
watch him in anything, but
he's one of those actors where people use it as sort of like the measure of a brilliant actor. I'd watch him read the phone book or something.
mm, yeah,
He
yeah,
just has
a
that sort
monologue of
of
Kurt Russell.
whatever material you put in front of him, he makes electric in some way. I feel.
Yeah, definitely. Aye. And his legacy's going to be there. We could do this episode again in 20 years' time, even if he's done nothing from now until when he eventually passes away. You could do this in 20 years' time. People still know these movies. People
Yeah,
still know the thing. They'll still know Snake Plissken. Tombstone will be spoke about the same way that these westerns that we don't like
yeah,
still get the dust. A movie like
really.
Tombstone will stand any sort of test of time.
Yeah. It's if anything, like going off that, I think he's like one of the last of that generation of true movie stars.
Mm, yeah,
Where I mean, there's just lots of actors now. That's not to disparage them or say they don't do great work, but there's lots of actors and no real movie stars. I mean, I hate to
yeah,
parrot Quentin Tarantino, but it's the roles that are the stars, not the actors.
yeah. I think there's someone like Chalamet's getting a lot of credit for. I've not seen Complete Unknown. He's for me, he just looks a bit too young now. They're just good actor. And he is a good actor. Maybe the one it kind of seems like he's getting past the Tom Cruise torch is Glenn Powell. Certainly with
He
the Running
seems that
Man now,
he's
he's
getting pushed for that superstardom. Yeah,
yeah, and he seems to be the one that's going to be a movie star. Now we're talking Tom Cruise, who it's
is
even the
the
Mission
I think
Impossible movies, and
it's the genuine
no,
last of his kind. Yeah,
aye, the rest of them are. Yeah, God, couldn't even think. Like maybe I just don't watch a lot of action cinema. But it's
not
very
necessarily even
even. I
action
mean,
cinema.
Glenn Powell's even been in Expendables. Like he's already been in an Expendables movie. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
even without action
Mim-
movies, that sort of
Hemsworth,
like even without action
maybe.
movies, that sort of superstardom, I think he's kind of that last of a dying breed, really, which makes it
Mm,
sound so romantic and ridiculous. But I think it's just the nature of the film industry's changed. It's not like a conscious effort to make less movie stars. It's just
it's just so much. I think
yeah,
that's one of the issues. There's so much. It used to be you didn't have Netflix releasing 30 movies of shite a year. Apple getting involved with it. You had your movie studios that at least I don't know exact numbers, but say 5 movies a year
like 5 big
for
tentpole movies. Yeah,
yeah, and that was it. And you'd Paramount, you'd TriStar, you'd uh, it was is it Canon? I can't remember the name of it. But you had that era of you would go to the cinema because there wouldn't be a huge amount. Like
yeah,
the way we
and you
can
have that.
within in any week, like a movie will last for a week, and then there's another 2 movies out the following week that are going to take that
Yeah,
star away from it. They're going to take the light away from it. Now it's just bang, 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 everything's out, and then 6 weeks later, right, you need to get onto video on demand, and then you need to pay for that again. And then you've got the special editions that will come out, and then you get the re-release that an extra 5 minutes of footage 2 months after
yeah.
the original one's been released,
It's
as
like
well
that.
as
Like studios having those 5 movies a year. You go to see the actors that you like. Whereas
aye,
now
exactly.
you get like so many movies and you get actors recurring roles in the movie so often, so it doesn't feel like he's
Mm,
this actor that you love. You'll see what they're in because it doesn't happen very often. Now it's
mhm.
he's an actor that you love, and Hollywood knows that you love them, and they will put them in everything until you're sick of the sight of them.
Zendaya,
Um,
she's the one that now, isn't she? She's getting
yeah,
4 or 5 things a year, and again, good actress, movie star,
yeah,
cultural star, maybe.
it's a name I forget as well. He's the new captain. No, Mr. Fantastic and Fantastic Four. His name's completely gone. Pedro
Pedro
Pascal.
Pascal.
He's
Yeah.
like one of the sort of the negative of this era where Hollywood knows people like him, so they'll just oversaturate them.
To the point where people then hate him,
So I don't.
even
That's
though
why I
it's
don't think
like
you
you're
can
going to
get.
take work.
I don't think you can get some movie stars in the same way anymore because it's just they're
Yeah.
chewed up and spat out.
Yeah, you would see them once every 2 years, once every 3 years
Yeah,
before. Now you're getting them 4 times a year and things. And again, Pedro Pascal, I like. I and see the thing is though, there is lots of great actors. I've just finished watching Task, which had Mark Ruffalo in it, and Mark Ruffalo is incredible in
he's great.
Task.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Yeah, and even the guy from I can't remember the actor's name, but he was in Banshee as well, and he was the other main guy at Task, and he played Robbie in Task, and he was fantastic. He's more TV though, like he seems to be more that side. But again, that's another thing you can talk about. We could have a full conversation about the fact that TV is probably more um, cinematic in its
Yeah.
delivery nowadays. Well, a lot of the content, God, I hate that word, but well, a lot of the content, the product that's getting put out there.
Hmm. Yes, but we approve of just to wrap up. We approve of Kurt Russell. He's great. He's a legend. Um,
Aye.
you can't really miss of his movies. Obviously, he's going to have bad ones, but I never think he's the bad part of it. He's
No,
always
no.
holding up his end, really.
Yeah.
So uh, coming up soon, there's a few interviews that I'll be doing between now and the end of the year, which is sort of like a nice little segue. Not into me taking over interviews from Andy, more in a sense of we're doing something new with Uncut, with talking with actors, directors, people, just following this similar sort of format, but also incorporating a bit of interviewing into it too. So I'm looking forward to what that has in store, really, because it could be quite fun, really.
Mm.
Talking to those people about stuff other than selling their latest movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aye, earnest chat.
yeah. So, Andy, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter or X. Technically, I'm barely on it. At Nowhere Andy, same on Blue Sky. Mostly, you'll find me here. Conducting some interviews, talking with yourself,
Hmm.
whatever is coming up next year. I'll be involved as much as I can.
Yeah, that's all anybody can do, really. Yeah, absolutely. And you can find me online across Blue Sky and Instagram at Uncut Robcast. But until next time, where we'll be doing a Christmas special, a stealth movie Christmas special, which effectively means we're not doing sort of Muppets Christmas Carol and 18 other varieties of Christmas Carol, because apparently that's the only book that ever gets adapted in any way. It's going to be movies that basically happen at Christmas but aren't about Christmas, which there's more than you think,
Mm,
really.
mostly Shane Black.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it because we're going to do Iron Man 3. That's a Christmas movie. So, yeah. But until next time with that episode, thank you very, very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.